Hello student, I am Toton Ghosh from BARDHAMAN. Today I am going to discuss one of the most well-known poems of Rabindranath Tagore, Govinda'S disciple. Disciple means a student, you can say the student, or you can say also the pupil, P-U-P-I-L, pupil. Here you will get the utmost benefit of the poems such as word meanings, paraphrase, critical analysis, and morality of the poem, which is the most important part of this poem. And here is also discussed a contradiction or contrast between materialistic world and the spiritualistic world, which is the most important part for this poem. Now I will discuss line by line explanation of the poem, or I will provide you a line by line explanation of the poem. Far below flowed the Jamuna, swift and clear. Above frowned the jutting bank. Hills dark with the woods and scarred with the torrents were gathered around. Means the poem begins with natural imagery, transporting the readers from their worldly surroundings into the lap of nature. The river Jamuna can be seen at a distance, flowing swiftly and clearly through the wilderness. The riverbank is lined with jutted rocks that make it seem like the riverbank is set into a perpetual frown. The landscape is surrounded by hills on all sides. The dense foliage of trees growing on the hills gave the hills a dark appearance. They were skirted by the many fast moving streams that journeyed through the hills. Far below flowed the Jamuna, means Jamuna was a river, and swift and clear. The river was, means the stream of the river was flowing swiftly, and the water of the river was clear. Above the frowned the jutting bank. This is the most important line. Above the frowned the jutting bank. What is the meaning of this line? It means that the banks of the river are said to be frowning because the current of the river is alarmingly scary. It means that there are chances of risk along the banks of the river. Hills dark with the woods and scarred, means hills are dark because of woods, and scarred with the torrents were gathered around. And scarred with the torrents, scarred means hills have cuts on them because of the torrential rainfall. Next stanza. Govinda, the great Sikh teacher, sat on the rock, reading scriptures when Raghunath, his disciple, proud of his wealth, came and bowed to him and said, I have brought my imperfect present, unworthy of your acceptance. It was in the midst of this wild habitat and natural beauty that the great Guru Govinda, one of the founders of the Sikh religion, sat on the rock and read his scriptures. His study was interrupted by a visit from one of his disciples, Raghunath, a wealthy fellow who came bearing a gift for his Guru. Bowing in front of Govinda, Raghunath said to his Guru that he had brought a small present for him in hopes that it would be worthy of the great Cbse's acceptance. Now, let me explain it. Govinda, the great Sikh teacher, sat on the rock. Means Govinda, the great Sikh teacher, means Govinda was the great Sikh teacher, and his fellow's name Raghunath. Means Govinda was busy in reading scriptures. Means he was fully concentrated in his studies. When Raghunath, his disciple, proud of his wealth, because he was born in a rich family, and came and bowed to him and said, means came, Raghunath came with a gift, with a present, and he said that it will be unworthy of your acceptance. Means you are a great Sikh teacher, but this little or but this small gift will be unworthy to you. Means you are worthy, means you are worthy of getting better than this gift. Next stanza. Thus saying, he displayed before the teacher a pair of gold bangles wrought with costly stones. The master took up one of them and twirling it round his finger, and the diamonds darted shaft of light. Raghunath brings forth a pair of gold bangles studded with precious stones, an expensive gift indeed. Govinda picked one of the bangles up and twirled it around his finger, while the diamonds of the piece of jewelry scintillated by refracting of the sunlight. Thus saying, that he displayed before the teacher a pair of gold bangles wrought with costly stones. Wrought means decorated with costly stones. The master took up one of them and twirling it, means spinning it repeatedly, quickly around his finger, and the diamonds darted, means while he is spinning one of the bangles, at the same time it provides, or it is shining, or it is giving out bright light, or shining, or the brightness was exposed because of diamonds. Next, suddenly it slipped from his hand and rolled down. The bank into the water. Alas, screamed Raghunath and jumped into the stream. The teacher set his eyes upon his book, and the water held and hid what it stole and went its way. Govinda only observed one of the bangles when it suddenly slipped from his fingers and rolled down the stony bank and into the water. Taken aback by the loss of his precious stone, Raghunath screamed in disappointment and jumped into the water and to retrieve the bangle he had brought for his guru. Govinda continued to sit on the rock, read his scriptures, unbothered by the frantic attempts of Raghunath to bring back his precious gift to him. The water seemed unbothered by Raghunath's search and continued to hide away the bangle as if it had decided to steal the same away from Raghunath. Suddenly it slipped from his hand and rolled down. Means while he was spinning one of the bangles, at that moment it slipped from his hand and rolled down the bank into the water. Then it will be disappeared. Alas, screamed Raghunath. Screamed Raghunath. Raghunath was shouting in disappointment and jumped into the stream. And as soon as the bangle went into the water, then Raghunath jumped into the water. The teacher set his eyes upon his book, and the water held and hid what it stole and went it away. This line describes about the current of the river Ganges. Govinda threw the bangles into the water. The current of the river was powerful, so when he threw the bangle, it went into the deep water and disappeared in the river. So these were Govinda's disciples. This is the last stanza. The daylight faded when Raghunath came back to the teacher, and tired and dripping. He panted and said, "I can still get it back if you show me where it fell." The teacher took up the remaining bangle and, throwing it into the water, said, "It is there." Dripping with water and exhausted Raghunath, means tired Raghunath, came back to Govinda, having spent the whole day looking for the bangle in the water. Though through breathless pants, he told his guru that he could still fetch the bangle for him if only Govinda would show him where it fell. Govinda answered this question, means of his disciple, in the most unexpected way. Picking up the second bangle, he threw it into the water as well as and said, "It is there," implying that just like the first bangle, even the second one was now lost. Means the central idea revolves around the renouncing one of attachments to material possession to create space for divinity to enter our minds and make them fertile for spiritual endeavors. The great Sikh Guru Govinda, throwing his gift of bangles into the river, offers a profound lesson to such inauthentic disciples who are still struggling with the materialisms hold over their minds and lives. Now the poem is ended, and don't forget to like, share and comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you.